Let's do a deeper dive into the establishment as it's regained political power in America, is about to be our presidential party, about to have control of the House and Senate, and are now wanting to expand to meddle in other countries as well, with Elon Musk deciding to utilize his social media he's bought and plays with to now interfere in Germany, Canada, Europe, largely, just anywhere politically that he can, where he can move the Overton window to the far right. Something very dangerous and that definitely needs pushed back on earlier rather than later. So let's learn what these are, how it looks like, so we can identify and push back where necessary.
Over the past few days, Musk lashed out at the UK's Labour government, also trashed a UK politician he'd formerly backed, the anti-immigrant populist Nigel Farage, with the far-right Reform UK party. Musk's change of heart came after Farage refused to support the release from prison of far-right anti-immigrant Islamophobic activist Tommy Robinson. Meanwhile, Musk also falsely accused UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer of failing to prosecute child rapists and supported a post on X that urged King Charles to dissolve the British Parliament and call elections to remove the Labour government. This comes after Elon Musk also backed Germany's far-right anti-immigrant party, AfD, for next month's elections, and is set to host a live discussion on X with its candidate for chancellor. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz responded to Musk's endorsement, saying, quote, "I don't believe in courting Mr. Musk's favor. I'm happy to leave that to others. The rule is don't feed the troll."
It will never stop being hilarious to me how MAGA genuinely thought they were raging against the establishment and teaching them a lesson when it was so clear that they were supporting its return to power. They were duped on another level. And now that the establishment has grasped a firm hold on American politics, they're throwing things like, the MAGA base not liking H-1B visas. They're saying, so what? We're going to do H-1B visas. And they want to expand that influence to other countries to further do things to benefit themselves at the behest of the workers. The end goal is always to help far right-wing elitist governments rise to power to institutionalize the establishment on a more global level. So it's not just a domestic battle. And that way, these rich fucks can then play multinational elite. And when you pull back the curtain, the reason for this is obvious. It's not for the better of America. It's all to further enriching themselves, push forward their own selfish goals. All at the behest of who? Those below them, the worker, those in poverty, people living paycheck to paycheck. Because, sorry, you're not in the club, and odds are you never will be. It's an exclusive one. But what is one policy if Musk isn't in the establishment, if Musk does have America's best interests out? What's one policy Musk has ever supported that is good for Americans, that is directly against his own best interests? I'll wait because it doesn't exist. He never has and never will support one.
The richest man in the world, that's Elon Musk, donated more than $250 million to President-elect Trump's campaign. He's now shaping policy for the incoming administration. And it's believed he's made, since the election, over $200 billion. Musk attended a New Year's Eve gala at Mar-a-Lago alongside Trump and has joined him on a number of calls with foreign leaders. Musk will co-head Trump's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Last month, Musk played a key role in pushing Republican lawmakers to kill a short-term government spending deal at the last minute. Musk also got Trump's support for backing H-1B visas for highly skilled workers, despite opposition from Trump's anti-immigrant base.
What never gets talked about enough in these conversations is how Trump rose to popularity in 2016, largely by being viewed as an outsider candidate who wouldn't be influenced by donor money. And boy, did that ship sail instantly. He tells oil companies he'll do whatever they want on energy policy if they can raise him $1 billion in donations. The corporations and CEOs sells his Israel policy to Sheldon Adelson in his first term, who paid him hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, Miriam Adelson in his second term, where he's allowed her to then go on and handpick multiple cabinet members and set Israeli policy. And then Elon Musk, of course, gets to buy the biggest news-based social media, donate $250 million to Trump, and now he's in charge of regulations. Congress heeds his warning, but not the establishment. And also Trump can't be influenced by donor money. Like, this idea from MAGA that Elon Musk, these billionaires are somehow good picks and good things because they're businessmen and know how to be successful. And it's totally not just him being part of the establishment is really telling to me. And it was honestly surprising because I was giving MAGA too much of the benefit of the doubt. These people don't even know what the establishment is. It's literally just a buzzword that Trump told them means the Democrats, so they hate it. That's it. These people actually don't know what the establishment is. Like, MAGA will unironically tell you that like a liberal professor at an Ivy League school is the establishment. The establishment is a class of people of which I can guarantee you Elon sits at the head of that table.
On Friday, Ann Talnace published an online post titled, "Why I'm Quitting the Washington Post," in which she writes, quote, "I will not stop holding truth to power through my cartooning because, as they say, democracy dies in darkness." Of course, she is citing the Washington Post's motto. This comes after Jeff Bezos prevented the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris for president. And as Amazon's Prime Video service announced it's acquired exclusive licensing rights to a new behind-the-scenes documentary about First Lady Melania Trump, Amazon also plans to donate $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund and said it would stream the event on Prime Video as a separate in-kind donation worth another $1 million.
And I want to put this into perspective because big tech is often what MAGA will point to as controlled by Democrats and proof of the establishment, which is nonsensical. I mean, the evidence for this claim is that Zuckerberg donated to help elections run smooth during COVID, where he donated to nonpartisan organizations that spread money across Republican and Democratic districts evenly. But of course, the conspiracy is that it was all secretly used for Democrats, and the Republicans who admitted that they received funding from Zuckerberg and thanked him for the help, they're just in on the scam too. They're, of course, rhinos, fake Republicans. But that's apparently all you need to say Democrats, big tech, Democrats, establishment, despite Biden also objectively being much harder on tech through his regulations, through his executive orders than Trump has ever or will ever be. And then on top of that, you look at Trump, who has Jeff Bezos donating to him in his pocket, trying to convince him to privatize USPS. He has Elon Musk donating $250 million to his campaign and abusing social media algorithms on his platform to favor conservatives. You have JD Vance and all his tech bro connections like Peter Thiel, which, by the way, is the real reasons for JD's success that he tries to paint off as like an everyman story, conveniently leaving out the help from multiple billionaires along the way that every man won't receive. But it really is like the Spider-Man meme when they do this, where the party who has the support and backing of big tech giants like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, point at Democrats and be like, you're the party of big tech. Like, again, one federal finance search could show you Zuckerberg didn't donate a single dollar to Joe Biden in 2020. I would love to know who the big tech person is that's like Democrat. It's George Soros, isn't it? Right? Yeah, exactly. Even though Elon Musk is like actually doing the George Soros thing in front of all of our eyes, but he's not the establishment. And as we'll get into in a later segment, it's because this anti-establishment that is portrayed on MAGA a lot of times just boils down to anti-Semitism. Think about it. Think about the rich people, the wealthy people, and the institutions specifically that MAGA wants to target when they're talking about the establishment. Ask yourself, why is George Soros a problem? Why is he the establishment, but Elon Musk isn't? What's the difference there? And I'll leave you to think about that. And part of it is that every accusation is a confession from MAGA. I mean, not the voting base. Not going to give them too much credit ever again. They're not smart enough in that. I mean, you have to remember they're kind of the victims here. It's elected MAGA. They know if they get exposed as big tech, it's over with their base, at least with the base that genuinely are like, billionaires, we don't want them. So they just preempt that by saying, well, Democrats are actually big tech. And you make up a bunch of conspiracies that's proof of this because MAGA will take your word for it. They're not going to research it at all. And if any contrary facts are presented to them, they're fake news. And then boom, now you're clearly the party of big tech, but MAGA doesn't care because they're all convinced it's just a Democrat thing. They did the same thing with the establishment, the deep state, being the party of elites. I mean, the list goes on, right? This, at this point, is a very real and clear strategy from Republicans.